This week at Street Rotting American Style, we've been invited to Iola, Kansas, population 5,704, and home of the Haunt for Hirschsprung's car show. Today we'll take a look at a 1950 Plymouth Coupe, a 1958 Ford F-250, a 1938 Chevy one-ton truck, and a 64 Ford Econoline pickup. All these are coming up here on Street Rotting American Style.
Support for Street Rotting American Style is provided in part by Kansas BG Incorporated, a distributor of BG products. Kansas BG is dedicated to the development of preventative maintenance service in vehicles for consumers and fleets. Kansas BG provides the driving community with products and services of automotive maintenance. More information can be found on the web at kansasbg.com and bgfindashop.com. And Ren Radio. Ren Radio can be heard from the web on your computer or smartphone, playing oldies from the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Oldies like Elvis, Chuck Berry, and the Skyliners, and many more. Nothing but oldies. Ren Radio is online all the time, on the web at wrenradio.net.
Street rotting's an art. It's a passion. It's a lifestyle. Guys and gals of all ages in communities all across this great land of ours are designing and building street rods that deserve a thumbs up. Our mission? To find these works of art and showcase them so that this passion is never lost, because street rotting is more than just a hobby, it's an addiction. This is Street Rotting American Style. Shelly, are you ready for a road trip?
Of course. Where are we going?
Iola, Kansas. That's a little bit of a drive, so if you're up for it...
You want me to drive?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Matter of fact, if you can drive it, and pack the camera gear too, and make sure the batteries are charged, but a pillow would be awesome. But
Stop. I will drive if you will shut up.
We're in Iola, Kansas today at the Haunt for Hirschsprung's Hot Rod Run, and I'm with the promoter, Andy. Andy, tell me about why you started this car show.
Well, we started the car show last year.
Okay.
How this started out is a fundraising event to give back to the Cincinnati hospital where Brian and Lindsay's daughter went to have surgeries.
Tell us who Brian and Lindsay are.
Brian and Lindsay are some real close friends of ours
Okay.
whose daughter had this HD, this Hirschsprung's disease,
Okay.
and had to go up and have some emergencies. Basically, to save her life, she had to have this surgery.
Okay.
And through the process of getting to know them and things like that, we started this fundraising deal, and it's basically to pay back the people that helped them while they were there
Right.
and their daughter was getting
Right.
surgery. For this car show, we've got a poker run going. We decided to try to do a pinup calendar, so we've got photo shoots going on behind us, so those kind of
Right.
things. Well, you guys are here.
Yeah, and we're here.
So it's been an excellent turnout. We've had a lot of fun.
It's been a great day here in Iola. David and I are going to go off and check out some great rides. All right, Harry, I have to confess that when I'm at car shows, I usually like the shiny cars. But I walked by yours and I just thought it was so unique. So tell me what we're looking at.
It's a 1950 Plymouth Coupe that was my mother's car back in the 50s.
The Plymouth logo featured a rear view of the ship Mayflower, which landed at Plymouth Rock. However, the inspiration for the brand name came from Plymouth binder twine.
So this was your mother's car?
Yes, she drove it back and forth to work. We lived here in Iola then, and she drove it from over here on Monroe to the hospital every day.
Okay. So then how did it become your car?
Well, I wanted to buy a 40 Ford for $50, but my dad said no, and they said, we'll just give you the old Plymouth. So I took it.
Okay, so what did you do when you started driving it?
I put a V8 in it.
I heard you were a car guy from Tiny, huh?
And two 4-barrels.
Yeah,
know.
really?
Yeah.
Did that make you pretty mean on the streets, did it?
Well, I thought I was.
You thought you were pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. But,
So tell me some of the other things that you've done. I mean, obviously this is not the same engine that you put in when
Right.
you were 14.
no, it has a roll cage in it, and we drive the wheels off of it now. Drive it like it's stolen.
So why a roll cage?
Well, in November 1964, I turned it over and I lit on my head and messed myself up a little bit. So.
Well, that explains the interview, doesn't it? Just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Never been the same.
Oh my goodness. So, and we mentioned earlier you're doing a little drag racing. I noticed the seat belts in there for keeping you safe.
Well,
no more rolling and things
yeah.
like that.
I went to Mocan in '62 when the track was new and when they celebrated their 50 years. I was only 15 then. Went back in 12. and I was 65 and done it again. So that way I raced
great.
there for 50 years, you know.
Kind of nostalgic,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
That's great.
Never was a fast car, but it was lots of fun.
Yeah. So tell me some of the other things that you're going to do to the car. I noticed that your dash is all shiny like I like. Tell me about
Yes.
that.
Well, I had to have something to look good, you know, to please people because they thought it was a pretty trashy looking car.
Yeah.
So I did the dash so I could say this is what it's going to look like when it's done.
Okay, Harry, I want to go back to talking about the engine. I noticed you've got a tunnel ram on it. Two things I want to know about that. First of all, I didn't think you could drive them down the street with them. And secondly, can you get a hood on this thing?
Yes, the hood will fit, and yes, you can drive it on the street. We just got back from Colorado. We've put over 2,500 miles on it in the last 8 days.
Really?
So
Okay. So I also noticed you have very interesting headers in there. Tell me about those.
well, those are what they call fender well exit headers, and they used them in the gasser classes back in the old days. And this car did run B gas back in the 60s, so I built the headers and had them coated.
Well, listen, this has really been a fun car to talk about. I have one more question for you, Harry. Can we hear this bad boy?
If it'll start one more time.
Okay, so we're about to head off to the car show, and I got elected to fill the tanks while the guys fill their stomachs. I don't know about you, but I enjoy having a selection at the pump as much as the next gal or guy, but there's so much to choose from, sometimes it leaves me scratching my head. Diesel, I understand that. Diesel engine, diesel fuel. Fuel that is 91 or higher in octane for higher compression engines, okay. But what about ethanol? It's everywhere. Do I use it? Is there anything I should know about it? So tomorrow I think I'll drop in on our fuel expert Ralph Compton at Kansas BG and see what he can tell me about ethanol. In the meantime, I better finish fueling while those guys finish getting their Twinkies and Yoo-hoos.
Teresa had to prove to the seller that she was woman enough to buy this truck. Obviously she is, because we have her and her truck next on Street Rotting American Style.
Teresa, you're the promoter here, right?
Yep,
And you brought your truck, which is very cool. But tell me, what are we looking at here?
1958 F-250.
The Ford Model T runabout with a pickup body debuted in 1925 as the first factory-assembled pickup, and it sold for $281.
What's the engine in this thing?
It's a 429 out of a 69 Thunderbird.
Wait, 429?
Yes.
They didn't come with a 429, did it?
No.
It usually came with a
This is-
six-cylinder.
Yeah.
But it has a 429 in this thing.
Yes.
So you're gonna keep the 429, right?
Actually, my husband is building a 460 and stroking it out to 545 cubic inches.
Whoa. This is gonna have that much horsepower?
Yeah.
For you or for him?
For me.
For you? Wait.
My husband's building it for me.
So he loves you or because he wants it?
He loves me.
You're not the type of lady to be seen around in a truck like this, are you?
Well, actually, the guy that sold it to us
Right?
said that he wouldn't sell it to us because I was a girl.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was that chauvinistic feel to it.
Yep.
So how did you get it then?
I drove it, and it was mine from that moment on.
Oh, you proved yourself to him then.
Yep.
Have you had a chance to burn tires in on that thing or not?
Every city block.
All right, good job. I like it. Awesome. So are these original tires that came with the truck or
Yes.
not? So you haven't burned completely off?
Not completely.
Okay.
They just got a little bit of rubber left.
Well, I'm seeing right now there's all these awards on it. These are all the awards on here and on the truck bed. Are those ones you've won?
No.
No?
No, not one.
Sad face.
No, unfortunately not.
What are all these awards then?
We're with Haunt for Hirschsprungs,
Okay.
and it's a organization that we started a couple years ago with our friends Lindsay and Brian Shaughnessy, and we started the Hot Rod Run. My husband and I make all the trophies ourselves.
So these trophies are actually for the awards for this car show, since you
Yes.
are one of the promoters here.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a good display because it's a great display for these awards.
It's a perfect display.
I love it. And matter of fact, I'll tell you, I'm looking at this thing real quick right now. And I love the decal of it. I mean, right now I see Andy and Theresa's Hot Rods. Is that a hot rod shop you guys have?
It's not a shop. It's more of a personal business that my husband and I have. He has a 74 Ventura.
Oh, I saw that 74 Ventura when he pulled up. That's pretty cool looking too. It's not new school, but compared to this, it is.
Yes.
So you went more nostalgic hot rod. You went more muscle car hot rod.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look inside the cab right now for comfort, because it looks pretty comfortable. But that seat doesn't look like a stock seat. It looks like aftermarket seat there. What do you have done there on the driver's side?
Well, I kind of have a book and a pillow because I'm a little short. So my book and pillow fits me perfect, and I can see over the steering wheel.
Right, and now you have that dominating feel going down the highway. People look at you and say, yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, that's right.
Instead of being a Kilroy over there like this.
Yes, exactly, and that's the way it was.
I'm also looking at the doors. There's no window cranks on there, but there's a box there. What is that?
It's power windows.
That is actually a power window for this truck.
Yep.
Tell me, do they really work?
Oh yeah, they work.
How does it work?
It's like kind of works like a drill would turn.
Right.
And that's how they do it. Push buttons and it goes up and down.
It just attaches right where the crank would be.
Yep.
You push a button, it goes up and down. That is really ingenious. I like that.
Yeah, for a 58 Ford, it's pretty new.
And you don't have to do this all the time.
That's
Especially
right.
when you're sitting on a book, you know, you got a little more room to reach there. That's okay. It's gonna be cool. Let's keep looking back on this. On the bed there, what I thought was pretty cool is the kind of a tailgate section, but it's made out of chains.
Yes.
Is that your idea?
No, it was my husband's idea.
Your husband's idea.
Uh-huh.
It's very cool. But tell me, what am I looking at there?
My husband welded every link of all of that chain, the
So it
entire
doesn't
thing.
move?
It does not move.
Really?
And he's got rebar in it that he welded. It's all him.
I like it because it goes with the style of the truck. The nostalgic, rustic feel.
Yep.
It's just very cool.
Yep.
This is awesome. Can we ask one more favor, Teresa?
Sure.
Can we hear this bad boy?
Sure.
Hey Ralph, how's my automotive fluids guru today?
I'm good.
Good. Hey,
What's
listen,
going on?
I've got this nagging question I cannot find an answer to.
Well, let me guess. Ethanol.
Yes.
Fourth time today.
Okay.
What's going on?
Some people are telling me it's okay to use. Others say no, stay away from it, don't use it. I want to know from you, the expert, what's the answer?
Yeah.
Yes, use it.
Well, with some judicious maintenance, just like everything else.
Okay.
You know, it's a good fuel. It's renewable. It's green. It's good for Kansas. It's has less BTU per gallon than gasoline, so the more of it you use, like if you had a flex fuel vehicle, your mileage is going to come down. Okay, that's one thing. There's really just one little tick, one thing that it's hygroscopic, means that it likes water or water likes it.
Okay.
So that means in vehicles that have all plastic fuel delivery systems, it's not going to do anything unless we get a thing called phase separation, which is there's too much ethanol and it separates from the gasoline, and then you got pure ethanol in there.
Does that happen very often?
No.
Okay.
The other thing is if it pulls water out of the atmosphere and you have a vehicle that has like steel parts or like iron or steel that's going to rust because of the water, well then you probably ought to have a corrosion inhibitor.
So I know you've got all kinds of products to help protect my engine, correct?
Yeah, actually we have a few.
Well, let's go look at some, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. When we come back, Ralph is going to show us those products that we need to protect our engines, whether we use ethanol or not.
No, this isn't a classic fire truck. It's a classic gas delivery truck. But it's awesome no matter what you think it is. And it's coming up on Street Rotting American Style.
Okay, Bob, I have to confess, I saw you coming from way down the street and I said, I want to talk to that gentleman. So tell me what we're looking at here.
It's a 1938 Chevy 1-ton old gas delivery truck.
When Chevy first introduced their 1-ton truck, the engine produced a whopping 37 horsepower, and its top speed was 25 miles an hour.
Why'd you choose this color scheme?
I like red.
You like red? Man after my own heart.
I've been on the fire department for 45 years, and I like red.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So, a gas truck, very unique. What made you decide to purchase a gas truck?
Well, my folks went into the gas and oil business in 1947. I wanted to build something to kind of go along with the business.
Okay.
You know? And that's what we come up with.
You're not running gas in this at all as far as your tanks back there?
No, I got that for storage. I got all kinds of storage. I can put my tent, my chairs, anything I want to put in there.
So you drive...
I can sleep in there if I wanted to.
Might be a little warm, a little interesting.
Yeah.
But so this is something you take with you. I mean, you drive daily, or
no? I
you
don't drive it daily.
Okay.
No. Just the car shows and stuff.
Okay, but it'll go down the road.
It'll
pretty
go
good,
down
huh?
the road. It's got a 350 Chevy motor with a 700R transmission.
Sounds to me like you're set up for power and for cruising, but I'm guessing that's not original to the truck, is it?
No, it come out with a 216 motor in it. It's got a 350 motor in it now. It's a 700R4 transmission, and it will cruise down the road.
Good deal, good deal. I noticed something on the back of the truck. I mean, this makes sense. It was for hauling gas, so there's a fire extinguisher back there. But you've got flares on the other side, and I'm kind of doing the math and going, are we asking for trouble with that?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you're hauling gas and you sell it, you broke down, you put your flares out and you light them up years ago and you got flames there, and hauling gas, you better have a fire extinguisher.
There you go. Or you better set your flares way back.
Yeah, way back, there you go.
So, Bob, as I'm walking around the truck, I'm noticing that the front end is a little lower. Tell me about the rake on this thing.
We dropped the front end and cut a spring on it.
Okay.
One coil off of them and dropped the front end. I think it looks a lot better now.
I wanted to ask you about the interior too. You've coordinated again with the black and the red, which I love, but it's buckets instead of a bench.
Yeah, I had a car that we had in the impound, and I just liked the seats. There's electric seats and everything. I pulled them out, cut them down, and had them upholstered and put them in.
Okay. Well, you know, we have a truck too, and I like the bench because then I can scoot next to my hubby.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're pretty close in there.
You're pretty close. Okay. Tell me about the crank windows.
That was your air conditioner.
There you go.
Cranked out the windshield, and that's where you got all your air. And that was your air conditioner back then in '38.
There you go. And I'm noticing too just the single windshield wiper. So what happens to your lovely bride when she's sitting on this side and she just gets to look at the rain?
She has to lean over and look out. That's not too functional, let's say that.
Okay.
It does work, but you know, I hate to get in a rainstorm with it.
There you go, yeah. So what do people notice about your truck?
It's red, and a lot of people associate it with the fire department. I've been on the fire department for 45 years, and they all think I built a fire truck.
Okay.
So that's why I put the Conoco on there and everything, to make sure they knew that it was an old gas truck.
So it's not a fire truck, but it might be a truck that causes fires. Is that what you're telling me?
It would cause a good fire if it got on fire. Yeah, with 300 gallons of gas on there, it would. It has a good potential for a good fire.
So I've got one last question for you, Bob. Can we hear this bad boy?
Oh, you can hear it running. It's not. You know, it's not loud. I like them quiet.
Okay.
But I can start her up.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Ralph, you said there's ways that we can protect our engine from water. So how do I even know, first of all, whether I've got water in the fuel, if it's ethanol or not ethanol?
Well, if you had water, separated water, you'd have a chugging and a missing, you know, because they don't want to run on water.
Right.
This is our ethanol fuel system dryer. It's an isopropyl alcohol, different than a methyl alcohol or an ethyl alcohol. It actually absorbs the water up into the gasoline.
So this is what I'm going to use if I have water in my system.
The two of these together. And this also has a corrosion inhibitor. Now the ethanol fuel system Defender has detergents and stabilizers. It would be what you'd use like to put your hot rod to sleep for the winter. Mm-hmm. And then it also has a corrosion inhibitor that coats everything and lasts at least a year. I was digging around and I found a couple of goodies I want to show you. This one is from April 30th, 2013, so that's 2.5 years ago. And it was some 87 octane fuel that I added a little bit of water to, shook it up. It had ethanol in it. And look at the corrosion that's occurred. There's steel wool in there. Look at all of the rust and corrosion that's in there. A lot of the gasoline and water have evaporated off, even though that it has a sealed lid. And then this was a day later, May 1st, 2013, and this one had ethanol defender in it. And look at that. There is no corrosion. There is no rusting of that steel wool. That's just been sitting there for 2.5 years.
And you're only adding this to your tank once a year? That's sufficient to keep it protected all year long?
Particularly on a low mileage vehicle. We recommend it every 5,000 miles.
Okay.
But what I'm showing is that the corrosion protection is there for much longer than that.
So whether you use ethanol or you don't use ethanol, whether you drive your car all year long or whether you store it part of the season, as long as you're using preventative products, your engine's going to be just fine.
It's a guarantee that when Richard pulls in with his 64 Ford Econoline pickup, everybody notices. That's why we have it next on Street Rotting American Style.
All right, Rich. Sweet, awesome, and different looking truck. But what are we looking at here?
It's a 1964 Ford Econoline.
Introduced in 1960, the Econoline pickup was based on Ford's compact Falcon line. This flat-nosed pickup sold in 1964 for $1,885.
Now, this is a Ford Econoline notorious for no front end.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
What's it like driving something like this thing?
It's cool. It's different, but it's cool.
Why is it different?
Well, because you're sitting in front of the front axle, and it's different to drive because you're sitting in front of the axle.
Is it kind of like Superman? Like, because there's nothing out in front of you, you're just going down the road.
Yeah, it's kind of scary that way to some people. I mean, after you get used to it, it's not bad, but yeah, it's plenty different, yeah.
Give us something else different is, it's not just normal height. You crank this thing up there. How high is this?
It's got a 10-inch lift kit on it. It's a 91 Bronco chassis.
Okay, so you put a Bronco chassis on this thing?
Yes, sir.
Is it four-wheel drive?
Yes, sir.
So it is four-wheel drive. So that's what you were going for. You're going for that four-wheel drive, that height look to be different?
Yeah, well, the height look is just a look.
Right. That just comes with four-wheel drive.
Doesn't have anything to do with the mechanics or anything. It's just cool.
It is cool.
It's different.
What made you go that direction with this?
Actually, I didn't. A buddy of mine built the truck, put the body on the chassis.
Right.
And of course, I blew the motor, so I had to put a new motor in it.
Wait. So your buddy built it, you blew it up.
Yeah.
So what size engine is it now?
It's a 351 Windsor.
You get a lot of people staring at this thing going down the road?
Oh, yeah.
What's the comment everybody says about this?
You know, it must be hard to get in and out of. And
is it?
Stuff like, yeah, it is.
It is really?
Especially for an old guy.
But you're not old, so you got a breeze right now getting in and out, don't you?
Yeah.
I think so. I'm looking at the door also behind us, and it says Falcon. That was actually a line of the Econoline?
Yeah, they built a few of them, yes,
See,
they did.
This is why I like about this job, because I keep learning new things. I never knew Falcon made a line for the Econoline
Actually,
series.
that's part of the reason I bought it, because I've been into Falcons for many years. I've had a bunch of different Falcons, and that's part of the reason I bought it.
You did well. I think it's so cool. The color is candy apple red?
Well, it's actually two different colors of red. One of them's a Toyota candy apple. I don't really remember the actual name, but then the bottom of it is Torador red off of Ford.
So you have a two-tone red on this thing?
Yeah.
And pinstriping?
Yeah.
Why'd you put the pinstriping on?
Just to set it off a little bit.
And it does.
Yeah.
It really does. I'll tell you another thing that sets it off really nice are the side panels. The wooden side panels on this are really completely different because you're not expecting that from a four-wheel drive truck, nostalgic truck, and you see these wood panels. Did you know that was going to look good?
Well, I had an idea that it was. I mean, a lot of your old pickups had them, you know, when they were for businesses.
But not this style pickup, did it?
No, not really. Not a lot of them. Most of them were built for the military.
And also what's different about this is that front grille. That front grille is not stock, is it?
No, it's a grill that I built. I've been looking for a stock grill that I could chrome and put on it, but so far I haven't been able to find
So you
one.
want a stock grill on this? Going inside, though, the interior looks really immaculate. Completely redone, right?
Yes. Like I said, it's not a hot rod, and I'm not trying to hot rod it by any means.
No, but it looks like a hot rod.
Yeah.
And especially with that B&M shifter on it,
Yeah.
gives it also a look of a hot rod. I would imagine, though, it's probably got a nice sound of a hot rod.
Not really.
Not really.
Pretty quiet, really.
Is it? Well, you know what? I don't care because I would love to hear this bad boy. So, as I always say, can we hear this bad boy?
Sure.
That'd be awesome.
Not a problem.
Iola put on a great show today.
It was.
It was. What did you find?
Well, first I found Harry's 1950 Plymouth. It was old school, but what I liked best about it was that it belonged to his mom.
It belonged to his mom?
Yeah, and he still has it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah, and then there was Bob's 38 Chevy truck.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it. It was a gas truck.
Oh, the gas
turned
truck.
hot rod.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was amazing. What did you find?
I started out with Theresa's 1958 Ford truck. I mean, that was so cool. That old farm truck was her hot rod, and it was very, very cool.
I loved the flatbed on
It
that.
was. That was awesome. Then I saw another truck. It was Richard's 1964 Ford pickup. I always enjoyed those early Fords, but it was that four-wheel drive that added another aspect to it.
That made it pretty cool.
It did. And if you want to see some more cool rides, then join us again next week, and you're going to see why street rotting is more than just a hobby.
It's an addiction. Support for Street Rotting American Style is provided in part by Kansas BG Incorporated, a distributor of BG products. Kansas BG is dedicated to the development of preventative maintenance service in vehicles for consumers and fleets. Kansas BG provides the driving community with products and services of automotive maintenance. More information can be found on the web at kansasbg.com and bgfindashop.com. And Ren Radio. Ren Radio can be heard from the web on your computer or smartphone, playing oldies from the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Oldies like Elvis, Chuck Berry, and the Skyliners, and many more. Nothing but oldies. Ren Radio is online all the time, on the web at wrenradio.net.